Welcome to the roller coaster ride of business with Hannah Edwards on Global Voice Radio. Hannah and her guests share the real deal, the ups and downs, the highs and lows of building a business. Here is your host, Hannah Edwards.
Hey guys, and welcome to the roller coaster ride of business. I am your host, Hannah Edwards, and today I am joined by the lovely Nancy Becher. Nancy is a fellow Global Voice radio host and has her own show called Don't Wait Till Pigs Fly, which I recommend you all actually go and find and have a listen to. On the description of the show, you'll find Nancy's links so we can send you straight there. Thank you for joining me, Nancy. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
So you have had a massive career. You've been an author, a journalist, and a business consultant for more than 30 years. I'm only 31, so when you say when I see bits like that, I'm like, you have done so much in the time that I've been alive. What the hell?
You make me sound so old.
No, you're so successful.
Oh,
right?
Well,
you have your own book coming out in early fall.
September, hopefully. Sure. It's baby steps to starting and growing your own business.
Awesome.
I have been in business since I was 12 years old. And, I know all the ins and outs of trying to make a business successful. And when someone gets started, they're so excited, and they say, well, I've been making widgets for so many years. I know everything there is to know about making widgets, so I can sell them for myself. Well, that's not necessarily the case. Just because you're really good at what you do, it doesn't mean that you know how to monetize it on your own. And so the baby steps to starting and growing your business takes you step by step from, am I really going to be good as a business owner? Or does it really make sense for me to continue to work for someone else?
Yeah.
That's where it starts out. You have to make that decision. Then we talk about creating SMART goals and the steps to get you from where you are now to where you want to be, in a year from now. And it takes you through marketing and all those different things. There are worksheets in every chapter that help with everything that we're talking about in that chapter. There are tons of resources in it, and it's really exciting. And I've had a lot of people that have been guinea pigs for me and have been working with me on this. And so right now we're in the stage of editing, adding, and doing a little bit of shifting. And when that's done, we'll have a book that's ready to go.
That's fantastic. Is it an ebook or it's coming out as a hardback?
It's going to come out as a hardback. Right now it's about 85 pages.
Wow.
So there will be more.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm loving the sound of it.
It's 8.5 by 11, so the 85 pages are full size.
Wow.
So it'll probably get shrunk down into, half size pages. And or in the end, yeah.
So it would definitely be worth it. So your show, Don't Wait Till Pigs Fly, how did you come up with the name for that?
Again, I have been in business for so long, and I work with, I do not consider myself to be a coach. I am a small business growth strategist. And when I'm working with people, or when I see people who say, well, I'm a business owner, and they sit back and just wait for something to happen. Well, I've got my Facebook page, I've got my website, and I'm open for business. Where's the business?
Yeah.
They're just waiting for it to come in. And if you sit around and wait until pigs fly to get your business started, it ain't happening.
I love that.
You got to get out there and get it going.
Absolutely.
And I also want people to realize that even though there's a lot of hard work, it can be fun too.
Definitely. I mean,
You know,
my show is obviously called The Roller Coaster Ride of Business because when I've had conversations about it, like with people, so many of them have gone, it's like being on a roller coaster. And then I was like, hang on a second, it actually is. You're on like this journey upwards to starting your business. Then you've got to this high because you're like, hey, I've got a business. And then, like you said, where's the customers? So you straight back down again because you're at this low point of, well, hang on a second. I've opened my business, like I've done all this work, I've opened my business. Why are the customers not flocking to me? And so we've called it that purposely because it basically describes it. Even 10 years into business, 20 years into business, it's still a roller coaster journey. You're still getting the highs and the lows. And it's just one of those things where you're like, my God, business is really scary. I say it almost every show. Business is scary.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's one of the most frightening things in the world. And while I don't work with mindset, I'll leave that to people who are more equipped to do those kinds of things. There is a lot of mindset in it. And I've been there. I was in a really bad car accident 4.5 years ago, and very difficult for me to get up and walk.
Yeah.
But I've said, and at the time, I said, well, I guess I'm just going to give up and just sit in my corner. And, I've lost all my clients. I'm this, I'm that, I'm the other thing. But then you say, all right, come on, you can do this. You've been doing it for 30 plus years. Don't give up now. And you
Absolutely.
get up and get go. You get up and get going again. But if you let that scariness, that fear take over, then there's nothing there. You just will.
Absolutely. I mean, as I've discussed on my show before, it's okay to have days where you let maybe this, I want to say the self-pity kind of take over. I was discussing with Denise, our Global Voice Radio founder, one day, and I've written a blog on it and I even did a show on it, about the fact that I literally went through this period of time where, as I put it, I just didn't want a business. I have my businesses. I have this show, my magazine, my VA business, and my blog that I do. So on top of that, I also have a full-time job. And I literally laid in bed one day and I was like, do you know what? I don't want to respond to anyone's messages. I don't want to load up my computer and do anything. I literally just want to eat crap and watch crap on TV. I don't want to talk to anyone. So I put a Facebook status up saying, look, guys, if you have to message me and it's an emergency, then I will get back to you. But if it's not an emergency, then please don't message because I'm having a non-tech day. Obviously, I had the telly on, but that's not what I call tech. And I literally stayed in my pajamas. My hair was all scraped back, and I was just literally having a day where I literally ate crap and watched crap on TV. And then the next morning, I thought, no, do you know what? I'm going to get up. I'm going to get that computer on because now I've got myself behind. I've had a day where I've wallowed in myself, which is great. You're allowed to do it. It's a form of self-care. And it does do you good to have a day where you're not constantly on the computer doing your business and stuff like that, taking a day out. I spent the day with my other half. We have a sofa each in our house, so we literally had the recliners out and we'd been to the shop to grab all the junk food. We didn't answer the door, we didn't answer telephones, and then the next day we replied to all the messages and felt great. A lot of people think that when they start their business, they've just got to go, 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 go. And then they reach burnout. Have you seen a lot of people do that while you've been in business?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then it's just, I'm dealing with one of my most successful clients right now that has missed her last 2 consulting calls because stuff has been going on she's in business with her husband and things have been going on for them, non-business related, but it's just, I can't deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just done. And so, she's gone into hibernation for a couple of weeks.
Which will probably do her good.
Yeah. But now we're meeting again today, and, I'm going to have to hold her hand and walk her through all of this and encourage her to get back up on the horse and, get going again.
Like, I like to tell my listeners that it's okay to have a day where, or two, however many your body tells you, your brain tells you need to have. And it's okay as long as if you're serious about being a business, that day that you've finished wallowing in all your crap, doing whatever you're doing, you get back up and you get on with it, because your business is not going to run if you're constantly wallowing in self-pity. You've taken those steps, you've put in all that work, you've opened your doors, whether like metaphorically or actual physically, brick and mortar, opened your doors, and you haven't got any customers. So what? They're not going to flock to you on the first day. Unless you're like opening a like Chanel store or something, they are not going to flock to you on that first day. And it's hard.
It is hard, but one of the things that I preach and that my whole business is involved in and believes in is that you have got to put in a crap load full of work.
Absolutely.
Before you really get success in your business. You've got to know who your ideal client is. You've got to know what you want from the business. You've got to know what you provide to those clients.
Absolutely.
You got to work on your business before you can work in your business.
Definitely.
And people don't want to hear that. They don't. No. It's a fear. You're back to this mindset and everything again. Is that if I really sit down and start to think about what I want from this, I want to make $500,000 this year. Oh my God, $500,000. How am I going to do? And rather than say, okay, well, I might not be able to make 500,000. Let's see if I can get 50,000. They're just going, well, since I'm not going to be able to make that 500,000, I'm just not going to do it at all.
Absolutely. I mean, every month I will reevaluate my business. So I take my A4 notebook and I look at the previous points that I put down the previous month to see whether I've managed to achieve the different bits and pieces that I want, whether my goal for the business is still the same and everything. And if not, I reevaluate them and I start afresh kind of thing. So it's not like it's a new business every month, but it's a new way of looking at it every month. Because if what I'm doing one month isn't working, then clearly I need to change and do something else. And I've always recommended to people that have asked me about different bits and pieces that you still need to, it doesn't matter how long you're in business. I've had my virtual assistant business for a year and a half now, but because it's still early days, it's still one of those get the effort in, keep the job to pay the bills, and work as much as you can, any spare time. My phone comes to the bathroom with me when I'm brushing my teeth and I'll answer an email. I will literally, as I was doing today, grab something to eat as I'm running up the stairs. And it's one of those things where if you're deadly serious about having a business, you do whatever you can when you can. I've put off meeting friends for coffee because I've had something that is important for my business. This is my future. And if I can't see myself doing this in the future, then what is the point of me doing it now?
Absolutely. I'll give you a tip that I give to everybody when I start working with them. And this in and of itself will often scare people, but I tell everyone that I want them to find a quiet spot someplace where they can just sit back, have something in their hand to drink. I usually have a cup of hot tea and close my eyes and picture my life 5 years from now.
Absolutely.
And what do I want to be happening? And you and I were talking a little while ago about magazines, and you have this wonderful magazine. Well, I ran a magazine, produced and ran a magazine for 9 years.
Yeah.
And a year or so ago, I just got tired to talk about burnout. But it was a very, very successful magazine, and I kept pushing, and I kept, and here I am trying to do all this work from bed. I just had eight surgeries, and I'm just going. So I'm sitting here working on this 5-year plan, and I wrote it all down, and literally it was everything from where was I living, the kind of house I was living in, what I had for breakfast, when I got up, what was I doing through the day, where was my money coming from. And I read that mini book by the time I was done with it, and nowhere in there was there one mention of that magazine. And at that point I said, that tells me something.
Yeah.
And I closed it down right then and there. I did not do another thing with that magazine, and I haven't felt guilty about it.
No, and you shouldn't, because you've looked at what you want, where you want to be. It's like, I know exactly what I want to be doing in 5 years' time, and one of those is to have my magazine, as well as being online, in print and sent to like several countries. Now, even if that means that while I'm doing it, I have to have it print and sent to me, and then I ship them all individually to the people that have ordered them, I will do that, as long as I get to the point that I want to be at. And the point that I want to be at is that my magazine is in print all over the world. Like, I don't just want it in print in the UK. Like, I'm not thinking small here. I want it in print everywhere. And
I had mine in Canada as well as all over the United States. So
it's fantastic. And I want my virtual assistant business to be at the point where, like, I have it's like a sub team. So not only am I getting work, but I'm giving other people work. And even if they're people that I have to teach first to do the role, they might be like, you get the mums that are constantly posting up, like, I need a work from home job, what can I do? Well, in 5 years' time, I want to have been able to have taught you how to be a VA, and I want to be giving you work. Like, so whilst they won't be employed by me, I'll still be getting a percentage of it because they'll be getting the work from me. As well as doing my own VA work, I have like fantastic clients. I don't really want to be giving them up, so I will work with them as long as they will have me. Like, they are fantastic people, and they open so many doors for me in other ways as well. One of my clients is in PR, so I've managed to rethink how I run my magazine just from working with her. Like, and it's fantastic because I can sit there and say, well, how do we think about this? And it's like, well, actually, I don't think that'll work. Let's do it this way. And it's such a good feeling. So I still obviously want to be doing my work for her in 5 years' time. I want to be working for my other client that I signed last month in 5 years' time. And obviously I want more clients so that I can teach these people, pass out work. I want my radio show to be like global and everywhere. Right? And I want my blog to be seen in everywhere. And obviously that all means having to put myself out there, because as silly as it sounds, when I first was in talks with Denise about having a radio show as part of the business, I sat there and was like, oh my God, people are going to hear my voice. And that sounds like the silliest thing. And I don't know if you were the same, like when you guys were talking about it. I mean, I know you had your magazine and like all your businesses for over 30 odd years, but did you find that when you're coming to being on like video and like you're recording your voice, that there was like, oh my God, after all those years in business, there's still that fear?
A little bit, I think. I don't particularly like doing Facebook Lives because
me neither.
Just me, you're just looking at me, and I'll catch, just like right now, I'll catch myself doing and it's just, and I'm going, oh, shut up with the ands, Nancy.
My word is when I'm doing something, it's and all of my first, like, I've been listening back to my previous shows, and when it's been my single ones, like when I've got someone on, it's fantastic, I love it. But all my single ones, I'm there and I'm like, so if you do this, and we do this, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I actually let those shows go out.
Yeah, I know it. It's just like, oh, geez, come on. It's time to go back to Toastmasters.
And like I have a group that I'm a member of, and I did my first live in there because they have a Sunday thing where you can go live on a Sunday. And so I was like, right, guys, in 10 minutes time, I'm going to jump on the live, and I'm really sorry if I ramble, but I don't like going live. But I really need to be able to go live for the magazine and be like, hey, this month we've got this, this, and this, and like for the virtual assistant business and everything, so that when I'm out and about, I can quickly go live. And like thinking back to it now, I was sat there like listening to myself talking on this Facebook Live, and every other word was and I was like, oh my god, I'm rambling and I'm putting ums in there. What the hell?
I'm just listening to us talking right now. It's just I'm going back and I'm counting the ands and I'm going, please. Stop that.
Especially when you know
that I have to practice now.
Especially when you know that it's being recorded video and going on my YouTube channel. Yeah.
But
it is scary.
Well, it is scary, but I think that's the thing that people need to know and need to understand. It's we're people, we're humans, we're Absolutely. None of us perfect. And I think that when someone listens to this conversation, hearing us speaking, they'll go, oh, okay, that means I'm all right if I get up there and I do something too, because I don't have to be perfect. I can say and I can say nobody's going to think the worst of me because I do
Absolutely.
That. It's okay.
It's fine. Like, and it's when people think I work from home, I still have to get dressed and get dolled up just in case I've got that call and stuff like that. I'm there and I'm like, I'm not being funny or anything. This is the nicest my hair has looked in a long time. So I get up in the mornings because I have my set days that I'm in my care job, and my days off are my business days, and I have one day where I do absolutely nothing. I always make sure there's one day where I either sleep all day because I've worked so many hours, my body needs the rest, or I sit on my sofa downstairs after going to the shop, getting my crap to watch crap on TV. So basically, one day a week, I have my crap day. And it's not me wallowing, it's me recovering and my self-care. Sure. But I literally sit there, and so many people are like, so I didn't have a call today, but I got up and I got dressed as I was going to the office just in case. I'm like, really? Even when I've got a call, my pajama bottoms are still on, my pajama top is still on, and I've thrown a nice top over the top and like tried to make my hair look good, because no one's seeing me from my shoulders down. Right. And if I'm looking at position the camera right, people only see my head, so all I've got to do is make it right. Yeah. And I think people need to understand, and I think through your experience and stuff, you might agree with me on this, people need to understand it's okay not to be dressed up when you're doing your business from home.
Yeah. I do think for myself, though, that of all the years that I've been in business, the last 3 years since I was in the car accident are the only time that I did not have a brick and mortar office.
Wow.
I have never worked from home. I've always had a home office.
So it's like a new experience for you.
It is. And I would get up and I would get dressed and I'd be unlocking the door to my office at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I'd be lucky if I'd be locking it up at night at 11 o'clock at night. So wow. I was there, and this might be 7 days a week, depending on what was going on. So for me being home, if I don't get dressed, if I don't lock myself away in my office, I find myself doing everything but what I should be doing.
Yeah.
But putting that, and I think for everybody, there's got to be a mental shift.
Definitely.
You've got to, even if you are still in your jammies, which is fine and dandy, but you need to know, okay, I'm turning on my work brain.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm going to work. I'm not going to stop and go do the dishes and go make the bed and, sit and watch it. I'll take at lunch, I'll take a half hour off to eat and watch part of a TV show.
Yeah.
And I'll go, okay, my half hour's done, off with the TV, back into the office and back
Yeah.
work.
See, my thing is, I with my days, I'm actually not able to do my business because I'm at my day job. And then I'm like, do you know what? Some of these days I can be here for like 15 hours in this care job. So I have to be obviously dressed for that entire 15 hours. So when I'm home and I'm like, oh my God, I can literally just sit in my office. No one's going to see me. Like, pajamas are fantastic. I've never had such a relationship with my pajamas until now.
I think the bottom line is that we just have to have a mental tool of some
Absolutely.
sort that allows us to turn on and turn off the work gene.
Absolutely. I mean, for those that have children, it's obviously very difficult if they're working from home and their children are there, especially if they're young ones that like don't actually go out to school or anything yet. But even then, there's ways around it. Like, I know people that will say, right, so my friend is babysitting for me from this time until this time. During that time, instead of watching my TV shows that I don't get to watch when the kids are home, I am going to get this done and this done. And she's rocking her business. And like, she's at the point where her kids will soon start going to school. So she's like, I've got all these hours so I can have, like, get up in the morning, have my breakfast, take the kids to school, come back, do the dishes, make the beds, so that everything is done. And then I've got this time until this time where I can work, have some lunch, and then this time till this time before I've got to go and pick them up. And I mean, she's rocking it now with the couple of hours that she gets to do. So imagine the amazing stuff that she's going to do when she's actually got all that time home. And I'm quite excited to see about it.
Yeah, she'll be fantastic. That's great.
What difficulties have you had with all your business?
There, see, I didn't know this time. In 35 years, what difficulties haven't you had? Everything from when I've had employees, I've had, problems with, I had one day I went into my office and I went to turn on, I had a bookcase and it had a stereo and CDs and everything there. And I went to turn on the radio and there's a big hole in the wall on my bookcase where my radio and CDs were. And I went, okay, where did it go? One of my employees had walked off with my stereo equipment the night before. People that have had big contracts with me that haven't paid or that I've had to take to court to get paid.
Yeah.
Contracts with rents with my office spaces and things would go bad. We had at one point, one of the offices we were in, they came in to remodel it for us and made us leave because they found asbestos.
Oh my God.
We had to go through all this medical treatment and everything to make sure that we did not have asbestos in our systems. Then I've been sick a couple of times. At one point in my office back in DC, I woke up one night in the middle of the night and I was blind. I couldn't see. And my ex-husband, I was still married to him at the time, took me to the emergency room and I had pressures in my eyes of 75 when it's normally under 20.
Wow.
So wound up with glaucoma. And for 2 years, I was flat on my back from 4 eye surgeries. And I let my office manager run my business for me because I couldn't see. Literally, my eyes were patched shut. She ran the business into the ground. I totally lost my business and had to start over from scratch. Then we moved back to Michigan 10 years ago to take care of my parents. And in the middle of doing that, I was hit in a hit and run car accident. I've gone through 8 surgeries. I can't drive anymore. I can't walk. I walk with a brace and having to try to go from before the accident. I traveled 5 days a week. I went to other cities to do my training in businesses, and all of a sudden I can't do that anymore. It's having to learn how to do it all online.
Yeah.
And you lose every time something like that happens. Every time you change an email, every time you change a phone number, you move from one location to another. It's like starting over again.
Yeah.
Because your customers, your clients lose track of you, or they think you no longer want to do business with them.
Yeah.
And so there are lots and lots of everyday things that get in the way. But
Yeah.
there's such a wonderful, and I don't want to sound like this is all horrible. It's not. There's absolutely fantastic things going on too. I had a day yesterday when I was jumping and hollering and screaming and whooping it up because a very well-known business consultant that I've met, she has thousands and thousands of Facebook followers and has a huge business, agreed to be interviewed on my podcast.
That's amazing.
And I'm just going, who can I tell? Who can I tell? Oh my God, it's just exciting thing.
Yeah.
And it is, and to see that bank account grow from this little bitty teeny to it's a little bit bigger, and then it's a little bit bigger, and it just it keeps growing, and then whoops, I've bought something and it goes way back down again.
It's that whole roller coaster thing, like you're on the high and then you've spent money, you've paid the bills.
And it doesn't matter whether you've been in business for 5 hours or 50 years. You still have. But there are things that you can do. There's the tools and the processes and the strategies that I teach people that allow you to minimize those ups and downs and keep you more in the middle. You're never going to get totally past the ups and downs.
No.
But if you plan, if you have these plans, if you do these goals and all of that, you can, and if you plan for the unplanned, the unexpected, what happens if something I'm not planning on happens, what do I do?
Yeah.
Then you smooth it out, and it's much more of the yes than it is the oh no.
Absolutely. So before we go, what are your top 5 tips for people that are in that roller coaster ride of having their business?
Well, I think my first tip is to actually create that 5-year goal, and understand that just because you have something, and everything you do, I say write down. That's probably the biggest tip, is put it in writing so that you can look at it and see. You don't forget it, it's there. But understanding when you have a goal, when you have something that you're aiming towards, it can change. It's not an absolute. Like you were saying, every month you look at things and maybe something that you thought you wanted, it doesn't fit anymore. My magazine, I worked on it for 9 years, and then all of a sudden I realized that's not part of my goal anymore moving forward. So you have to understand that things change, that your priorities change, and go with it. Don't be upset if you realize I don't want to do this. What is it you want to do? So write it down, create your 5-year plan, understand that things change and don't get upset about it. Create situations where you can pivot and you can change if you want to. And be yourself. Don't listen to what everybody else tells you should be. For years, I fought the whole flying pig concept because people told me it wasn't professional. And I finally said, the heck with it, I don't care. That's me. And that is a perfect, story for my business.
Yeah.
And since I've gone back to using the flying pig, you can't imagine the number of people that I'm getting comments from. What do you do? Tell me more about and the connections I'm making, because the flying pig actually draws in people's imaginations.
Absolutely. So, I love
there's
it.
Your 5.
Thank you. So you can find Nancy's show on all of our platforms that we're available on Spotify and SoundCloud and Spreaker and so many others that I can't actually remember what they all are. I feel like a terrible person.
iHeart.
There we go, iHeart. And you can find her website, www.don'twaittillpigsfly.com, which I actually can't wait because I'm going to be going and having a look at it in a minute. You can also find her on Facebook and on the Global Voice Radio page. And you can find me on Facebook at Empowered VA or Empowered Magazine. And again, on all the Global Voice Radio stuff. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Nancy, for being here.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful day today.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Join Hannah Edwards and the roller coaster ride of business every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern on Global Voice Radio, where your voice is heard.